deep exploration of the sublunarian landscape using autonomous robots. I'm Tonya Hall, and joining me is Dr. William L. Red Whittaker, professor of robotics at Carnegie Mellon University. Welcome, Red.
Glad to be here.
Give us a brief summary of your background in robotics and in space exploration.
I'm generally viewed to be the father of field robotics, which are machines to farm and mine. I created the first of the autonomous driving machines, many machines on land, sea, air, underwater, underground, and my next step is out to space.
Sounds good to me. In fact, one of your latest projects, Skylight, was selected by NASA to help explore lunar pits. Let's start at the beginning. What is a lunar pit and why are they important targets for exploration?
There is a vast subterranean world, actually a sublunarian world, of incredible caves beneath the surface of the moon and Mars. And they've been known for decades, including science fiction going back a century. But they're uninteresting because there was no conceivable way to get into them until recent discovery of these pits. And the pits are sinkholes, huge, immense holes, the size of football stadiums with vertical sides that have collapsed and hence are an access to that underworld. And there are now hundreds of them known on the moon, some of them so intriguing. And the holy grail would be to explore and discover a fissure, a cavern, or a cave that begins there. And the reason that would be so important is that the trouble with humans on the moon is that it's hotter than an oven during the day, it is colder than liquid nitrogen at night, and robots really can't survive, humans can't survive in ovens and liquid nitrogen. It's also a lot of radiation. So how do you beat that? Well, if you've been in a cave or a mine, it's always shirt sleeve weather and no radiation, doesn't get hot or cold. So to find such a setting would be such a gift.
How will a Skylight robot explore lunar pits?
The first is to land nearby. That's a trick in itself. And in the near term, that's got to be done with a small lander. So for that part of it, I've created the Astrobotic company and the Peregrine lander. And the next technology is precision landing, not just landing, but precision landing to get up close and personal so that it's not much of a trek for the rovers. The next is exploration. So it's actually authentic exploration in the sense of being where nothing has been before and experiencing something where there's just no precedent in space. And that could be a little like coming upon the Grand Canyon for the first time, because these things are vast, huge walled, and who knows? And so the first is to cruise the rim. And that is something where before the fact, nobody knows the terrain, the conditions for mobility and driving around, and to reach vantage points from which the walls and the weaknesses and the details might be viewed. And then not just cameras, but telescopic optics that can look across. You understand with vertical wall, you actually can't see what's under your toes. So the best views are going to be at angles and across. And to make a way around and do that might take several kilometers of autonomous driving, because these early machines and small machines can't bear the weight of communications to communicate right back to Earth, and wouldn't have the power to power such radios. And so autonomously they make sorties and bring that imagery back to the lander for processing into high fidelity models and the kind of much smaller devices that can get back to Earth. The next step is to determine the means by which a machine could or possibly could go into into that kind of a pit. And that might be a ramp, it might be a weakness, and it might be a rappel. So this first mission, the ambition is to map and model in great detail and to set up for planning for future mission.
What hardware and software did you have to invent to make these specialized robots accomplish the mission?
There's no precedent whatever of a robot for this class of exploration, and that requires coming up with the hardware, which is the machine. Think of it like a mid-class robot of perhaps 15 kilograms, and with very high-end computing to empower the autonomy, with the kind of optics and cameras for viewing the terrain, with the kind of technology for processing those thousands of images into a model, and to do that with the reliability and the hardening to tolerate the moon conditions and achieve the exploration. So that's a little of what is to be done.
On what timetable are you operating today? When will the first skylight robots actually head off to the moon?
Well, that's maybe at or after 2023. And that's in part because the first small landings that are in the queue would not have the precision landing. And it's going to take some time to create and achieve the standards for the kind of inventions I just spoke of.
So when Skylight succeeds, what wider application could the robot have in additional planetary exploration?
Apollo was a pinnacle of technical and human achievement. And it missed altogether what matters on the moon. So it did a tremendous job of looking at dirt and looking at rocks and bringing some rocks home and some dirt home. And then what really matters, discovered since, are the pits and the poles. And the poles matter so much, they're now known to harbor vast amounts of volatiles like water and ammonia. And the water is so incredible in value because you can crack it into oxygen and hydrogen. Of course, you can drink it, breathe it, make rocket fuel out of it once you get the oxygen and hydrogen. And that is both the means for support of human presence and for deep space exploration beyond the moon.
Well, there you have it. Dr. William L. Redd Whittaker, professor of robotics at Carnegie Mellon University. If somebody wants to connect with you, Red, maybe they want to find out more about the work you're doing, or maybe they want to connect with you personally. How can they do that?
My email is red, like the color red, at cmu.edu.
Sounds good. And congratulations. If you guys want to connect with me and find more of my interviews, you can do that right here or go to tonyahall.net. Thanks for watching.